Alright guys, BLM here, we're back with more Syndicate. We're going to finish up Sequence 8 here. Something I just realized... Oh, we're full? Okay, I thought we were missing stuff. Alright, I guess not. So we're going to continue on here with Sequence 8. This is going to be the final mission before the assassination in Sequence 8. So it's the final like setup thing where our relationship with Maxwell Roth goes to shit. So let's go. Yeah, we're going to finish up Sequence 8 here. Start Sequence 9 next episode. And play up until the final mission, because I guess that's what I did the first time I played the game on the channel. So yeah, we'll play up until the final mission, which I believe took me around 40 something minutes last time. So I'll probably take this around the same this time, and then we'll do the final mission, which I guess took me 40 minutes last time as well. Like, I'm surprised by that. I did not think that final mission was that long. I knew it was long, but I didn't think 40 minutes long. Like, I was thinking more like maybe 25, 30. Okay. All right. So yeah, last episode I was just talking a lot about Danielle Reyes from Big Brother 3 in her game. I also compared it to Big Brother, and also to Tyler from BB20, and also Vanessa from BB17. Because I was talking about like the best players to never win sort of thing, which I think is yeah, I think the top 5 is probably what Danielle Reyes. I think I have at number 5, and then I think Vanessa. I think Tyler. I don't know. Would Paul be there? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Paul. The thing about Paul is that he has such a it's kind of similar to like Russell Hantz, and since that he's good in like at certain things, but it's like with Paul, I do think Paul is a better Big Brother player than Russell Hantz is a Survivor player, but especially because like we've seen that Paul is able to repeat that through a season where people already knew what he did. Now, obviously, we haven't seen Russell Hantz be. But then again, that's because Russell Hantz played such a... Like, it's because of the type of game he played the first time. But either way, whatever. I don't know. I mean, like, Eric Stein is definitely... A lot of people... I mean, like, a lot of people that, like, I really respect their opinions have it at number 1. I don't know if I have him at number 1. I feel like it's tough to put Eric Stein at number 1 just because we really don't know a lot about Eric Stein's game, because like we know that he's very good though. Like again, I think he's easily top 5. I think he's probably top 3. Just I feel weird putting him at number 1 because it's like we never actually got to see him play his own game. So it's like, while obviously he wouldn't have done the dick move, and we do know that, it's like there's other things I feel like it's like it's tough. It's tough with him just because he wasn't able to play his own game. Okay. Even though, again, I think he was definitely positioned to play one of the best games in Big Brother history if he had won. Again, like the fact that he survived the back door, one of only 2 people, I believe, to ever do that. Actually, no, is he the only? He might be the only because I believe Vanessa played in the veto that week that Becky put her up. But yeah, I have a problem with the backdoor thing too. Just because, like, while the technical definition right now is to be like backdoored is being put up after the veto without having the chance of playing in the veto. And some people like to extend that to also being that the plan from the very beginning was to do that, which I think is also kind of ridiculous. But I have some problems with that too, because the thing is, a lot of people like get really upset at people that like say like, oh, I was backdoored when like they were like when they got the chance to play in the veto. However, if you watch Big Brother 5, which was the first, which was the season where the term backdoor was coined, the first time backdoor was ever used on the show was by Karen at Final 5, which once again, she had the chance to play the veto. So it's like, whoa, wait, I almost fucked that up. So it's like, what do you, What? Oh, what the fuck? Where is he? Okay, what the fuck? So it's like, I mean, I think, again, I didn't watch the live feeds, obviously, back in BB5, so I don't know if on the live feeds they coined the backdoor as that phrase, but the first time it's ever shown on the show being called being backdoored was from Karen, who had a chance to play in the veto. So it's like, I feel like people misremember it. Because again, like, a lot of people equate the back door to the six-finger plan, which the six-finger plan is a bit different from, obviously, the six-finger plan is what everyone calls the back door now. But it's like, I don't think that's what it was meant to be, based on how the term backdoor was originally used. But again, I didn't watch feeds, so I don't know 100%, but still, supposedly... that's the sense that I get, though. But either way, and also I feel like it's a very arbitrary thing. I think backdoor should be being put up after the veto, regardless of whether you have the chance to play in the veto or not, because it's such an arbitrary thing. I mean, it's like, because if the plan was to put you up after the veto anyway, but then you just randomly get chosen to play in the veto, it's like, really, that's going to distinguish whether it's a backdoor or not? Like, I feel like it's such an arbitrary thing, because it's really just left up to chance whether it's considered a backdoor or not. So I think it's fucking dumb. Like, really, I think a backdoor should be just whenever someone gets put up after the veto ceremony. With the, mind you, whenever someone gets put after the veto ceremony with the intention of them going home. I think that's probably a major difference. Because fuck. Okay. But then again, now I think about it, with that definition, technically Casey survived the backdoor, didn't she? In BB, obviously BB20, but in the Rockstar week, because technically she was put up as the target by Haley after the veto. Well, obviously Rockstar ended up going home, but again, that's kind of just such a weird circumstance. Where she was like initially nominated too, so it's like, I don't know. But yeah, I think, like, again, Eric, I think is a very, very good player. I just feel like, in terms of ranking him as a player, I think it's kind of tough, due to him not, like, I think if he played again and he did just as well, I think he's definitely there. Like, he's definitely there. But I feel like as of right now, we're just so it's so unknown about his strategic reasoning, I feel like. Because again, like, we know he's able to convince people to do what he wants. We know that. The thing we don't know is whether he would have made the right moves at certain times, if he was, like, willing to do, like, a maneuver around the game, like, how we do know how adaptable he is, but I don't know, it's weird. Oh no, we can't kill kids.
What the hell are you doing? We're not playing games anymore, Roth.
No, we're not.
I love how, like, this is the end of their relationship. It's so fucking dumb. Oh no. So let's save kids. Okay. Who are the ones that we were rescuing? Oh, we have to. Oh yeah, I forgot. We have to open the door first. But I do think, like, obviously Eric, I think, is one of the best players to never win. I think Vanessa. I think, like, as I said, Tyler. I think Danielle. I think Paul is one of. I just don't know where I would really rank him as a player. As, again, his game in BB19, #1 most dominant game in Big Brother history. I think it's legitimately the #1 most dominant game in Big Brother history. Like, not even, like, I think even more dominant than Derek. Because the thing about Derek is that even though he did dominate the game, the problem, not the problem, but, like, a thing about Derek's game is that he wasn't looked at as the leader until after the jury phase. It wasn't until around when they blindsided Jocasta, right? While with Paul, he was looked at as the leader the entire time, or at least, I mean, week one on, like after he, like Cody attempted to put him up, which again, I do think, again, you gotta knock some points off for the fact that he did have the power that week, whatever it was called, and like the fact that he did use it. However, I don't think he goes home anyway, so it's like, it's not a major factor, but it is a factor. But then again, I mean, Derek had many twists that benefited him as well. To be honest, Derek might be the most twists. Like, I mean, the thing about, like, Derek is, like, again, he is my #1 ranked winner of all time for Big Brother in terms of dominance. But it's because he's on a tier of his own. I think if another person was able to get on his tier, I feel like almost everyone would beat him in his tier. It's just that no one's ever been able to get into that tier of dominance. And the reason why I would have him at the bottom of that tier no matter what. Again, he's very similar to Boston Rob, where Boston Rob, even though like he played a very masterful game, he's at the bottom of that very, very top tier for me in terms of Survivor winners, with only him and Kim Spradlin. And I do think he's at the bottom of Boston Rob because he only wins in that one scenario. That's one thing. Like, he literally loses against every other person. Mind you, he worked his ass off to get to that position, which, again, you got to give him credit for that. But again, just the fact that like an immunity challenge or whatever else, like, really determined his entire game. Like, again, if Ashley had won that final immunity challenge, he fucking loses. If like whoever else is able to win immunity challenges to the end, like, he loses the game in probably almost unanimous fashion. Okay, so assassination now. So we're gonna kill. Oh, we don't have a viewpoint. Fuck. Well, it's right there. It's not even that far. So let's do it. Let's kill Ross. Fuck. What am I talking about? Roth. There we go. I don't know why I said Ross. But yeah, I mean, it's Big Brother's interesting because, again, Big Brother's such a hard game to dominate. And yeah, that's why that's one of the factors of why I'm so disappointed that Tyler didn't end up winning, is because he's one of the few people that have been able to dominate a season of Big Brother. And the fact that he doesn't win at the end. And again, same thing happened with Paul last season. Though, to be honest, with Paul, I wasn't as upset because I think there were very blatant things that he could have done to win. While with Tyler, with the way competitions played out, with a lot of this, like, it would have taken like radical changes for him to win the game. With that being like his mindset of taking Casey to the end, like his mindset of loyalty with Casey would have had to be completely different for him to win that game. And also Casey would have had to not win out, essentially, which again is like, that's two major things that would have to change, which I think that's more than what you can really fault him too much for. Unlike Paul, where he can literally do one thing in that final speech and he could have won the game. Like, all he needed to do is appeal the whistle nut and he wins that game. He just needs to not be a fucking asshole in that jury speech and like roll his eyes whenever Josh talked and all that bullshit. And he very likely wins that game. Again, the thing that's so funny about that is that Whistle Nut was talking after the season about like he wanted to vote for Paul, but like Paul just wouldn't let him, essentially. Like he talked about how disgusted he felt about voting for like Josh. And it's like, yeah, like it's like that just shows how bad Paul played that end game there. But whatever. I mean, again, but I think it's so strange how these have all come recently too. Again, like in terms of dominant games in Big Brother history, again, there's very, very few. Like I think, and the fact that two of them have come this season is really, really strange to me. With Paul and Tyler here, and then obviously Derek and BB16. But even that was only 5 seasons ago. Like I'm trying to think of like who else played a truly dominant game throughout, and I don't know. I mean, Ross played a really good game, but the thing about Ross is that he did need to win immunity. He did need to win like HOHs and POVs and whatever else. So it is a fundamentally flawed game. It's not a game that I would even put anywhere close to that tier. I think he would be like in the lower tier below that. If not even, to be honest, he might be at the bottom of the top tier. What is this? What is this? We might as well do it, whatever it is. Oh, it's the mask. Okay. What is that? Oh, okay. Who else was there that I was going to talk about? Well, I mean, like you go to BB-18, and the thing is, there are people that have dominated from the beginning until they get evicted. Like there are people like there's Paulie Calafiore, who again, like people bash on Paulie, and I think rightfully so in most situations. But at the same time, like as a person, I mean, but at the same time, he played a very dominant game until the final, what was it, final 9? When Zakia went home, final 10 because there was a double eviction. But and then like everything fell apart. But he played the first like what 6-7 weeks there pretty dominantly, and again, if he had won from that point on with that level of dominance, he would have been an all-time great. But and I remember on RHAP it was funny because at the time they were talking about this, like if Paulie ends up winning from this point, if Paulie ends up winning this game, is he an all-time great player? And like they were like, well, yeah, in this fashion. But it's like obviously it didn't end up lasting, which was funny. But
you this evening, gentlemen?
yeah.
You're still here, love. Last time, I swear, you nearly poisoned us.
God damn it.
Scene 2, stand by.
Oh, I'm a fucking idiot. I almost spilled my drink on my fucking mic.
I need to lower the grip for the show.
I think it missed. Hopefully you're still hearing me right now. So we gotta kill the decoys for some reason, but what's dumb is why kill the decoys if we know that they're decoys? Like, what's the point? But whatever.
A volunteer. A big round of applause for this brave man. Our volunteer is about to die for you, Jacob.
Alright. But yeah, this guy is the decoy. There we go, perfect.
We'll hit several targets placed around his head. Exciting.
Trying to think of who else there is. He's getting, like, BB-18 didn't really have a winner, like couldn't have had a winner as dominant unless Paulie had won. Again, Paulie wasn't winning. But BB-17, I guess Vanessa to a degree, but again, I don't feel like Vanessa's in that tier. She's not in that top tier. Is she in the tier below that? Probably. She's probably still in that top tier, just like lower in it. Like she's probably, I don't know. I would put her lower than Hayden though, and like I would put her put her lower than, I don't know. Like, is she in that top tier? Because the problem I have with Vanessa's game is that, it's her lack of relationships, and due to that, like not many people actually felt loyalty from her. And again, like, she didn't have control during the first couple weeks. I guess really just the first week. She did gain control by the second week. But even that, she lost control for certain weeks of the game as well. Like, I mean, like the week that obviously she was backdoored by, or quote unquote backdoored by Becky, and while Becky, and to be honest, I don't know if that's really her staying. I don't think her staying was much to do with her as much to do with Becky fucking up and Becky not securing the votes of other people, and to be honest, it might be a fault of her mixed in with a fault of Shelly, in the sense that Shelly wasn't able to repair her relationship with James good enough to where, or James and Megan them, good enough to the point where they would have wanted to keep, because the thing is, Vanessa probably goes home against almost anyone else in the house at that point. However, obviously, against Shelly, she stays, because that's who, like, the people that were working with Becky, being Jackie, Meg, and James, they would have had enough votes to get rid of Vanessa on their own. They would have had 3 out of 6 votes, and then Becky would be a tiebreaker. So it's like all she needed to do was secure those votes, which she was not able to do because Shelly was on the block. Like if this was Shelly winning, if Shelly had won the veto that week instead of Steve, and it was Steve and Vanessa on the block, Vanessa goes home. Like, so it's like she kind of lucked out in the sense that Steve was the one to win the veto and not Shelly. Like, I just think there's a lot of these sort of like loops in Vanessa's game where like there's many points where she potentially goes home due to her lack of social bonds, and while she was able to utilize that lack of social bonds to get her really far, actually not really utilize the lack of social bonds, more so utilize her strategic acumen. I still think it's a faulty game, though it is a somewhat dominant game at a certain point. I think like by the time you get to, I mean, yeah, like by the time you get, I mean, like past that, her getting backdoored, like the week after that, I think by that point you get to a point where she does control a lot of the game from that point on. But again, a lot of her dominance of the game was due to her competition wins at like her getting rid of Austin. Like that was pretty solely due to her competition wins mixed in with Johnny Mac's competition win. Again, she does make a great move with like Julia, convincing Julia to throw the veto. Like again, she does like she's a masterful strategic player. It's just she makes very like she has a faulty social game, and because of that, she has to rely more so on her physical game than I would like.
Your move, Jacob, my dear.
Yeah, we're gonna end up finishing this probably a bit early. Either way. What a strange man. So yeah, what we're gonna do, I mean, I guess we just straight up assassinate him because we don't really need to do the full sync. Or not the full sync, the oh, I guess you can't, can you? Yeah, I guess you can't. I didn't think of that until now. You can't air assassinate him then. Oh, there we go. We did it anyway. Fuck.
Darling, what a night. The stuff of legends.
Why did you do it? All of it.
What? Snap a baby crow's neck between my thumb and forefinger. Slice to bits the ones you deem innocent. Keep the world in its divine, manic state. For the same reason, I do anything. Why not?
Gotta love what Maxwell Roth. All right, let's escape.
Damn this place from hell to heaven.
Okay, I forgot about that. Okay, fine. Yeah, then like what? BB16, obviously Derek played a dominant game. And to be honest, even if Frankie had won that season, he wouldn't have been that bad of a winner either, though he obviously not as high as Derek.
What a nightmare.
And actually, the more I think about it, though, I mean, like, Frankie did need, there were many points where Frankie needed competition wins. And if he did get to the end, he would have needed competition wins to get to the end. So, I mean, obviously, it's a fundamentally flawed game, but still, I mean, like, I think Frankie Grande is a better player than a lot of people give him credit for. Like, I think Frankie Grande is easily the second best player that season. And to be honest, it's not even close.
I'll never make it out alive.
And to be honest, if it wasn't for Team America, I think it's very likely that Frankie turns on Derek earlier than what than what he did, which was that he didn't. But whatever. Here we go. Did we make it? Yeah, there we go. Don't want BB-15. Again, I think Andy's as dominant. Oh, no, actually Amanda. If Amanda had won. Or even Helen to a degree, though. I do think Amanda was better than Helen, obviously. One, because Helen went home first because of Amanda, and also because Amanda just was better insulated within the game than Helen ever was. It's funny, too, because if you watch the TV show, I mean, like, they really try to make it portrayed as, like, Helen and Amanda were, like, equal. When in reality, like, Amanda was, like, far and away better than Helen. Because Helen never really got... Like, Helen had a few people. Obviously, she had Alyssa, explicitly. She had Jesse, and she had Candace. However, the problem is that she let those people go. Which obviously benefited Amanda. And too much, she let them go for Amanda, which is the more ridiculous thing. And she kept on thinking, like, oh, should we get rid of Amanda? No, next week. And then, like, she kept on thinking that, like, for those 2 weeks in a row with, where Candace went home and where Jesse eventually went home. And then, oh, we're about to do Secrets 9 now.
It's up to me now.
Who's Brood now? Is that that politician's name?
The assassins have
Brood
brought
now.
nature's fury into our homes. Men
But,
become monsters.
yeah, just Amanda was just way... Again, if Amanda had won, she would have been a pretty... top tier winner. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think so. I think she's pretty up there. Again, the fundamental flaw of Amanda is the fact that a lot of the jury did not love her. But I do think with that jury, I think if she makes it to the end, I do think she wins. Even though, again, a lot of them didn't respect her. I do think if she gets to the end, somehow that season. But then again, I mean, the fact that she was almost taken out, like, even if she had won that season, even if Andy had decided that we needed to keep Amanda or something, like, if Andy was just a worse player than what he is.
Let's start planning our infiltration.
Hold on, better to get visual verification. If we're gonna move, we need to be 100% sure. We'll only get
Yeah,
one
if
shot
he,
before Lotso Bird pushes down on
if
us.
Andy was just a worse player,
We'll position
and
ourselves in the
Amanda was able to
best.
stay
We'll wait
through
for you
that
to
final
sync the
6, and
data before
obviously
we move.
It's all
at that
up to you,
point,
initiate.
pretty much run the game to a degree, because obviously at that point she would have had 4 of the final 6 people on her side. She's actually, yeah, I do think she would have been a very top tier winner. I think she would have been. But then is she in that top tier? That's the thing. Because again, with Derek, it's just such a level of dominance that we very rarely see on Big Brother. Again, there's these other people like Maggie and like, who else is there? Wait, like there's someone like, all right, let's just talking about Maggie as an example. Is like played a very dominant win. However, the problem with Maggie is that half the house did not like her.
The piece of Eden is somewhere inside Buckingham Palace.
And the other half of the house considered her like their greatest enemy. So it's like, while yeah, she played a dominant game,
Killing Starrick's henchmen. What have you been doing?
it's like she was still the target for like half the house that entire season. And even then, like even at the end, that side of the house did not want to vote for her. The only reason Rachel and Howie voted for her is just because of how terrible Yvette's jury management was. And a lot of that wasn't even due to Maggie's plan. While I do think Maggie did plan on taking Yvette to the end, a lot of that was due to Yvette's own decisions, which then again, I mean, you got to give credit for Maggie to be convincing Yvette to take her to the end. But still,
Once more for old time's sake.
but again, I mean, like Yvette didn't really have much of a choice either. I mean, like, because if she takes Maggie, obviously the thing happens where she loses, and if she takes Janelle, the friendship made a pact that they wouldn't vote for a friendship member that cut a friendship member for someone else. So it's like, either way, she was really screwed in that situation. And then again, I mean, Yvette's not a good player anyway, so I mean, it doesn't really matter, but
We've
still.
discovered that there is something inside Buckingham Palace that could threaten the...
What my sister's failing to say is that we require entrance into the ball tonight.
Impossible! Even if there were any invitation cards remaining, which there are not, someone of your lowly station...
If that damn fool Gladstone is attending this evening, they can have my card. Perfect. Then I'll go alone.
Mrs. Disraeli, if you would be kind enough to inform my darling brother of the location of the Gladstone's residence, perhaps he could use his considerable skills to commandeer their cards.
What fun! Did you hear that?
Yeah, these are moments where I do think, like, that's why I kind of wanted
Gladstone's
Evie on that
invitations.
Survivor cast over Jacob.
Thank you for volunteering me, sweet sister.
Oh, a pleasure, brother, dearest. Now, Mrs. Disraeli.
Something about, like, the strings of hair that come down their face, like, that really fucking irritates me. Like, obviously, because it's like they're not textured as well or something. I don't know. I guess it's just weird to make it actually look right in general. I mean, hair's always been weird in games. It's really something that they couldn't really even get right until recently. With this, because obviously it would take a lot of power to, like, have each piece of hair move individually and everything. So it's not really something they even tried to do well until more recently. Okay, so we gotta go to the Gladstones. Well, I mean, we're probably gonna end the episode, but I do want to find out where we're going right now, though. Where are we going? Where are we going? What the fuck? Where are we going? Oh, okay. Where is that? Oh, fuck off! Are you serious? Oh my fucking god! Are you fucking serious? No, I don't want to say. I didn't even know that was a thing. What the fuck? When did that become a thing? Like, that really irritating. I did not know that was a thing. But, can we get off? Thank you. Alright, so we're heading over there, which I guess either way we can't fast travel because we're technically in the middle of a mission. Okay, it's over here. Okay. So, I guess we'll do this next episode. The thing is, wait, I want to look this up. How many missions are there in this sequence? I think there's 3, right? Or there's 4, right? Shit. Okay, what the fuck was that? The game, like, froze all of a sudden. Okay, there we go. Yeah, 4. So should I... Maybe I should start this. I don't know. I think we'll head over there and then end the episode. That's what we'll do. Next episode, we'll try to do all of the missions that lead up to the final one, and we'll do the final one in the final part. Yeah, I do think Amanda would have been a better winner than Maggie, at least. But, like, again, I don't know if she's in that top tier or what. Because, you know, like, ranking her against, like, people like, I don't know what Andy ended up being. Because the thing about Andy is that while he didn't play as dominant of a game as Amanda would have if she had won, he did play a game where the jury liked him a lot more than Amanda's would have if she had gotten there. Because I do think Amanda still wins, I think. If she, like, say, if it's Amanda and McCrae at the end, I think Amanda wins. I don't think that's a question. Because again, this is the type of jury, like, BB-15 ended up being the type of jury that respected gameplay. And I feel like there's no way that they would have voted for McCrae over Amanda. However, I do think if she's against, like, I think her against Gina Marie, again, I think it would have been very difficult for a lot of those people to vote for Gina Marie over Amanda. Actually, to be honest, she might even, nah, actually, she probably still gets the exact same votes, Gina Marie, but either way, it's still so funny that Gina Marie got 2 votes. Like, from Aaron, it was like, okay, sure. I mean, she's your best friend, so whatever. But, like, Judd still stayed true to his word. It's like, okay, fine. I think he probably knew Andy was winning anyway, but still, it's still funny that he voted that way. But if it's like, I mean, if it's Amanda versus Spencer, that's something I find interesting. And if it's Amanda versus Andy, I do think Andy would win, right? But then again, would he, though? Because it's like, obviously his perception would be completely different. Because the perception of his game, by the time he got the final jury, was completely different because he cut Amanda and then started a new alliance that was able to dominate the rest of the game. Unlike, like, if he hadn't cut Amanda, he would have been looked at as a follower. So it's like, it's kind of fundamentally different there. I don't know. Whatever. It was a 14. I think even if he had won, he wouldn't have been as dominant of a winner as I would have liked. Again, because he started off the game pretty raw. To be honest, I think his BB-14 game would have been just the same as his BB-10 game for me. Where, I think his BB-10 game, actually, he had, like, masterful jury management in BB-10. So, I mean, while obviously in BB-14 he didn't have that. So it's like, it's even then, like, I think it may... I think I might even have his BB10 game above his BB. But then again, there were definitely more points in BB14 where it was so blatant that he was in control. More so than BB10. And he just got really unlucky a lot in BB14. However, there's also the case of, at the beginning of the game, obviously he did have a couple weeks of safety. But then again, so did Ian. But then again, I'm not saying that. I still would have said Dan should have won over Ian. So that's not really the question here. Like the problem with Dan's game, that I have with Dan's game is, again, like he had a very rough couple weeks. Even though he was safe, the first couple weeks he was not able to get his way. Then you get on to even then when you get to Janelle week, he did not get his way. He wanted Janelle to stay, but he was not able to convince the other people in his alliance to do so. And by the time he gets rid of Boogie, I think it's a fundamental strategic mistake, though it was kind of a necessary one, but it's one where it made it so he couldn't win in any scenario, because a lot of the other players had already made an agreement that they would never have voted for a non-winner, or for a previous winner. So I don't know. It's tough. I think his move should have been to get rid of Frank, but obviously that wasn't possible because Frank won the veto. I think once Boogie is up there, for Dan personally, he should not have gotten rid of Boogie. Because again, that's one of his only win scenarios. So yeah. So yeah, it's 4:30 already. Goddamn. But that's it for this episode. Next episode, we will go ahead and continue on and see how this goes. But for now, thank you for watching.